Kelvin's royal ascent. The sky over London wept ash. The great cities of Earth were hushed, monuments to a war lost against gods who returned from the stars. The Anunnaki had shattered their world, and with it, the old order. But from the ruins, a new voice arose, a whisper of magic and resolve. They called her Kelvin, the Lavender Witch. In the hallowed, scarred halls of Westminster Abbey, the people sought a different kind of strength, not of parliaments or presidents, but of something older. With the weight of a broken nation upon her, Kelvin accepted the crown. Her husband, Starship Captain David, standing resolute by her side with the golden sword of state. They stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, Queen and Commander. Below, a sea of hopeful faces chanted her name. All hail Queen Kelvin. The sound was a fragile seed of defiance planted in the ruins. Kelvin, draped in the ancient robes of the Order of the Garter, raised a hand not in command but in promise. The adoration of the crowd was a comfort, but the war was not over. Arrange a meeting, Queen Kelvin commanded the Beefeater guards, her voice sharp with urgency. The heads of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Space Command. Now, soon, she and David were on horseback, parting the rubble-strewn streets on their way to Parliament. Within the surviving chamber of the House of Commons, the last of Earth's military leaders waited. 5 grim-faced generals, their uniforms immaculate amidst the dust, rose as their new queen entered. The air was thick with despair, but Kelvin's eyes held a fire they had not seen in years. They broke our fleets and flattened our cities, Kelvin began, her voice ringing with arcane power. But they did not break our will. We will rebuild. We will rearm. Captain David has gifted us with technology they cannot comprehend. T6 weaponry will be fitted to every ship, every tank, every fighter. Her gaze swept over the stunned generals, and we will take the high ground. We will build a weapons platform on the moon itself, a shield and a sword for all of humanity. The work begins today. The meeting concluded. A spark of hope ignited. Kelvin turned to her husband. David, your place is up there. Bring your station into orbit. Be our eye in the sky. He took her hands. I will. Be safe, my queen. He kissed her then. See you in 2 days, my love. Suddenly, a deafening explosion rocked the ancient building, shattering the fragile peace. The palace gates. Kelvin and David rushed out, a squad of beefeaters forming a protective cordon around them, their ceremonial pikes replaced with plasma rifles. There, standing in the cratered remains of the gate, was a lone figure. It was an Anunnaki warrior, encased in brilliant gold armor, its head a terrifying serpent's visage. In its gauntleted hand, it held a plasma staff that crackled with celestial energy. It had come for the new queen. The beefeater's plasma fire sizzled against the Anunnaki's golden armor, leaving not a scorch mark. The warrior took a step, the ground groaning under its weight. Your reign is over before it has begun, witch, it boomed, its voice a metallic rasp. Kelvin met its gaze, her hands igniting with a soft lavender glow. My reign has just started. Fall back, form a kill box in the grand entrance. David's voice cut through the chaos. He grabbed the nearest beefeater by the shoulder. Use the pillars for cover. Suppressing fire on my mark. The guards, disciplined even in the face of a god, obeyed instantly, their red uniforms a blur against the stone. As the warrior advanced, Kelvin thrust her hands forward. The air warped. From the shattered gates and rubble, twisted rebar and iron fragments ripped free, glowing with purple energy. They reformed in mid-air, a swarm of jagged spears that she hurled at the Anunnaki. The metal spears slammed into the golden armor, screeching and buckling, leaving deep gouges but failing to penetrate. The Anunnaki roared in fury and swung its staff, unleashing a blinding arc of energy. David shoved a guard to safety, the blast vaporizing the stone pillar where he had stood a second before. Brute force wasn't enough. Kelvin closed her eyes, reaching out not with her hands, but with her mind. She felt the deep, sleeping heart of London, the ley lines humming beneath the concrete, the centuries of history soaked into the very stones. She began to draw on that ancient power. The ground around the Anunnaki warrior cracked. Ethereal tendrils of pure lavender energy, ghosts of ancient magic, erupted from the fissures. They coiled around the warrior's limbs, tightening, pulling it down. The creature struggled, its immense strength useless against the intangible bonds. Kelvin walked towards the ensnared giant. "Why come alone? An executioner?" The serpent helmet turned to her. "A test," it rasped. "The High Command wishes to measure the strength of Earth's new anomaly. You have passed, but know this. They are coming. An armada to erase this world from memory." "Then tell them Earth is ready," Kelvin whispered. She clenched her fist. The lavender energy flared, and the golden armor dissolved into shimmering dust, followed by the warrior within. The silence was absolute. Kelvin swayed, the immense power leaving her pale and trembling. David was there in an instant, catching her. The dust had barely settled when the generals arrived from Parliament, their faces a mixture of awe and fear. General Thorne, a man whose jaw seemed permanently set in disapproval, surveyed the scene. "Witchcraft," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. "This will not win the war, Your Majesty. We need ships and guns, not parlor tricks." Kelvin drew herself up, her royal authority returning like a mantle. "My parlor tricks just saved this palace, General, while your guards' plasma rifles couldn't scratch its paint. You will have your ships and guns, but you will learn to trust every weapon at our disposal. That includes me." Her gaze was steel. Hours later, in the quiet of their private study, the weight of the day settled. Tactical maps and damage reports glowed on holographic displays around them. "You can't go now," Kelvin said, her voice quiet. "They sent one to test me. They know I'm here. They'll send more." "That's exactly why I have to go," David countered, his voice gentle but firm. "The station is our only early warning system, our only real shield. I'm more valuable to you and to Earth up there than I am down here, fighting them one by one." He gestured to the star chart on the display. Before Kelvin could reply, an aide entered, his face pale. "Your Majesty, a priority message from the Northern Command." He handed her a data slate. "Food riots in Manchester. The distribution centers were overrun. People are starving. They're blaming the Crown." Kelvin looked from the report to David, her decision made. "Ready my transport. I'm going to Manchester." David stepped in front of her. "Absolutely not. It's too dangerous. They'll see it as a sign of weakness." "It is not weakness to stand with your people," Kelvin replied, her voice ringing with the same power she'd used against the Anunnaki. "It is strength. The war isn't just in the sky, David. It is here, in the hearts of our people. We will feed our hungry, we will rebuild our cities, and we will win, on all fronts."